2024's exciting Vietnamese folk horror film, Demon Dog, is here. Inspired by local legends, it garnered rave reviews and topped the box office charts. Watch it with your buddy. Old Chen, the biggest dog meat vendor, restocked overnight due to high demand. As he approached his shop, his motorcycle stalled. To prevent delays for the next day, Old Chen had to make emergency repairs. After fixing the bike and washing his hands, the long-dead dog slowly raised its head, its eyes glowing red. Old Chen glanced back but saw nothing unusual. He sighed in relief and continued washing his hands. Unexpectedly, the next moment, a ghostly hand held him down, drowning him in a shallow water pit. After hearing of his father's death, Anon hurried home. Old Chen, perhaps waiting for his son, never slept. But when Anon helped his father close them, Old Chen suddenly smiled eerily, blood oozing from his mouth, and a strange bite mark appeared on his neck. With many onlookers, chaos ensued. Anon, worried Ashwen would be scared, took her inside. As they passed Old Chen's room, Ashwen saw the deceased. Anon, feeling tired, dismissed it and planned to keep vigil until dawn. After midnight, he heard footsteps and felt a chill. Someone stood silently nearby. But when he stood up in a panic, the figure vanished without a trace. Just as Anon thought he was seeing things, his father's face veil nearly scared him to death. When he came to his senses and looked around, he discovered an even more terrifying scene. His family had all hanged themselves, resembling skinned meat dogs. Anon, terrified, backed away repeatedly, only to encounter his father's ghost again. In the next moment, Anon jolted awake. It turned out everything was just a nightmare, but he didn't notice. The clear handprint on his shoulder showed Anon ignored his father's warning and buried Old Chen the next day. At a family reunion dinner, Anon suggested marrying his girlfriend Ashwen, who was pregnant with his child. This could have been great, but his second uncle opposed it. It turned out Old Chen always ran the dog meat shop. The second uncle, now the family head, wanted to reopen the shop and expand. To save on wedding costs, he pressured Ashwen to have an abortion. Anon refused, but his greedy aunt agreed, causing a big argument that ruined the reunion dinner. Ashwen, feeling unwelcome, did household chores to improve her standing. She worked late and, when she went to bed, heard strange chewing sounds from the dining room. Summoning her courage, she turned to see a terrifying sight. A dog-headed human monster at the table, while a human-headed dog feasted on food. A large-headed monster eagle was eating itself on the stove. Ashwen was so scared her hair stood on end, and she backed away, knocking over a chair. The monster's eyes fixed on her as she screamed, waking Anon and his grandmother. But when Ashwen gestured to the dining room, the monsters had disappeared completely. The grandmother believed Ashwen disturbed her late husband and started chanting prayers for his peace. Suddenly, the radio blared a harsh noise, causing the altar to shake violently. The grandmother quickly turned off the radio, restoring normalcy. However, the noise returned, and the altar shook more violently. She smashed the radio. The noise stopped, but strange footsteps came from above. The grandmother looked up and saw a pair of red eyes. A ghostly hand reached from under the bed, dragging her into darkness, her screams bringing Anon over. He believed his mother had fallen, but discovered her ankle twisted and marked by a strange bite. Despite the unusual situation, his mother's condition stabilized after treatment, relieving Anon. He took his girlfriend to see the hometown sights. As they passed the dog meat shop, they saw customers eating. Ashwen felt uneasy and urged Anon to leave quickly. A madman suddenly entered the shop, trying to prevent customers from eating dog meat, creating chaos. As he faced the crowd, a woman, his sister Aruan, rushed out to help. After promising to compensate for the damages, the customers finally calmed down. Kind-hearted Anon went to comfort them, but the madman trembled at the sight of Anon, as if seeing something terrifying. He urged his sister to leave, but before leaving, Aruan left a cryptic message that puzzled Anon. It mentioned a white dog, and Anon's family happened to have one. Linking recent odd events, Anon became suspicious and searched online for red-nosed white dogs. The results shocked him. They were believed to be demon reincarnations, dogs by day and demons by night, known as demon dogs. After birth, they would eat their mother and siblings, roam rooftops at night, mimic elders walking on two legs, and wear hats to ward off evil. A smile from it brings a family curse. The two were skeptical of these mysterious claims online, not knowing they would soon see it for themselves. The aunt sat on the bed, organizing funds, when she felt a chilling presence. Rhythmic knocking came from under the bed. When she cautiously looked down, she found nothing. But when she raised her head again, the demon dog opened its bloody mouth, revealing sharp fangs like knives. The aunt was terrified and collapsed on the spot. When Anon arrived, he saw the demon dog flash by. Instinctively, he chased it to the village outskirts, where he witnessed a horrifying scene. The spirits of slaughtered meat dogs clung to a dead tree like a canopy, their red eyes piercing the soul. The demon dog appeared as described, leaving Anon frozen in fear. A thunderous roar suddenly scattered the spirits, bringing him back to reality. He rushed home. Anon urged his uncle to delay the opening, knowing that killing dogs for meat had drawn the demon dog. His second uncle, eager to run the shop, wouldn't give up the chance. Anon asked his aunt to help persuade him, believing that after seeing the demon dog, he would agree to postpone. The greedy aunt denied everything to Anon. "I see nothing, did you? Why are you calling like that? Am I blind? If I'm scared, I'll call." "No." "Can I call? Tomorrow's cookies. I. Good words." Ignoring warnings, the cursed dog meat shop reopened. The second uncle thought dog blood enhanced virility, so he slaughtered a pregnant dog, mixed its blood with wine, and drank it eagerly. The aunt cut the meat, the wife roasted it, and business thrived. However, Anon noticed that each time the aunt chopped, his mother's leg ached. Seeing his mother nearly faint, Anon rushed out to stop it. With customers present, the aunt couldn't get angry, but once they left, she showed her true colors.
Cô chặt là mẹ con la, cô không nghe hả?
Nhanh nhá, thì im ngay đi nhá. Tao chặt đùi chó chứ chặt.
Nhưng mà mỗi lần
Mày ngáo nó vừa thôi.
Driven by greed, she worked late into the night. Just as she was finishing, she heard chopping, but the knife was on the counter. Overcoming her fear, she followed the sound to the oven, finding it empty. As she felt a chill, she was saved by a pair of hands, preventing her head from being cut by the sharp iron barrel. Before she could celebrate her escape, a ghostly hand emerged from the oven, twisting violently, and severed her aunt's neck instantly. After feeding the dogs, the wife prepared to rest but felt many eyes watching her. When she slowly turned to look, she saw the meat dogs in the cage had turned human. One lunged at her, biting. Just then, the second uncle arrived and struck its head with a stick. When the wife got up to check, she found no one else, just a dead dog. She was convinced she hadn't been mistaken and cried in bed, too frightened to sleep. When she got up to go to the bathroom, she heard a sticky chewing sound. Turning around, she nearly wet herself. A dog-headed human monster was gnawing on her husband's leg. Paralyzed with fear, she turned to find the monster gone, but breathing sounds came from under the bed. She slowly lowered her head. The wife's scream woke her husband, who belatedly realized his leg had been gnawed to the bone. Anon woke up, meeting the white dog's gaze and feeling terrified. Covered in cold sweat, to protect his wife and child, he tiptoed out to check, only to find the white dog stealing food in the kitchen. Anon tried to leave quietly, but then everything fell silent. The white dog raised its head and smiled at him. Suddenly, it lunged at him. Anon swung his fists wildly, but the white dog had disappeared, leaving only a bite mark on his arm. Anon sought Aruan to address the demon dog and found he had the same bite mark on his arm. The Ruan family was once a larger dog meat business than Old Chen's. However, Old Ruan became a cult fanatic, wanting to kill his family. His brother saved Aruan, enabling his escape. The brother survived when a lightning bolt killed their father during the rain fight, saving the Ruan family from a massacre curse. The brother went mad. Only lightning can break the curse. While Anon dealt with the demon dog, his second uncle found the local sorcerer. He believed the restless spirit of his brother was causing trouble and decided to perform a ritual to disperse it. To prevent Anon from interfering, he gave Ashwin an abortion pill. While Anon took her to the hospital that night, the second uncle dug up his brother's grave, sealed his eyes with coins to suppress the spirit, and buried a black dog with him to suppress the body. Casting a spell on a doll with a death date can stop Old Chen from reincarnating. However, his death was set for 5 a.m., and just before the ritual, the second uncle had a change of heart. "I'm not dead. I'm not dead." Anon happened to return and learned from the doctor that Ashwin had been given an abortion pill.
Cuối cùng là giờ nào? 3 giờ sáng.
He asked his second uncle for an explanation but found out more about his father's death. From the uncle's story, Anon learned about a different father. Old Chen seemed diligent and kind but despised his brother for his wealth. He frequently had affairs with his sister-in-law and remained unashamed even when caught. The second uncle endured for survival, but his hatred increased daily. On the night Old Chen drowned, he and his aunt passed by while delivering goods. Filled with hatred for Old Chen, the second uncle let his brother die. Anon couldn't accept the truth and immediately attacked the second uncle. They fought fiercely, and the second uncle hit Anon with a brick. When he dragged his injured body home, the demon dog appeared on the roof, grinning menacingly. Suddenly, it lunged at him, spraying liquid and transforming him into a half-human, half-dog. the second uncle, now possessed by the demon dog, initiated the massacre curse. He first attacked his wife, dunking her into boiling water as if removing a dog's fur. When Anon woke up and returned home, he found his aunt barely alive, her face scalded and swollen like a dog's skin during dehairing. He recalled his father's drowning, who enjoyed drowning dogs. The aunt, known for cutting meat, finally felt the pain of being cut, reflecting on the mother's role in burning off fur. Anon rushed into the slaughterhouse and found his uncle attempting to burn his mother. They fought to the death again. In the struggle, Anon picked up a cutting board and accidentally broke the second uncle's neck. But when they tried to leave, the dead second uncle stood up again, his broken neck creaking as it slowly turned back. To shield his mother and wife, Anon pushed them away and drew the second uncle to the outskirts. Thunder and lightning filled the sky, mirroring Arwan's experience. Anon used lightning against the second uncle. The dead tree where the dog spirit lived likely attracted it. He ran to the dead tree with a gun and found a sharp piece of wood, which Anon used to his advantage. When the second uncle lunged, he pushed him onto the wood. Surprisingly, despite being pierced, he continued to struggle fiercely. As he was about to escape, Anon jumped on him, holding tight until the lightning struck. With a silver flash, the demon dog was expelled, and the curse was lifted. Following his near-death experience, Anon chose to abandon his father's killing business and shut down the dog meat shop, relocating his family. As Anon left, the demon dog smiled, ready to find its next target.